Hey guys, Noclipped back here for the video, guys. Welcome back to episode of my Madden retrospective series. We take a look at different Madden stadiums in Madden 22 all the way up to Madden 25. See how much they've changed over the years. Now, our first stadium we have here is the Washington Commanders Stadium. And we're going to start off with a very, very weird start to this video. Because not only does this stadium have working cars, which if you follow the channel, you know I absolutely love. The first car we're going to see out here is doing a wheelie. And that's not even an understatement. Yeah, the front wheels are off the ground. Gets better as he drives along, but we'll say this is the first actual stadium where cars do wheelies. Now, overall-wise, this stadium is kind of lackluster throughout all four Maddens. How I put it is like this. This stadium is not bad, but they really do not do it any service when it comes to Madden. So, you're going to see what I mean in the future. But starting off right away, Madden 22 was all about the outside of the stadium, not the direct outside, but the map around the stadium. So that's where EA Sports really put their time and effort into, was making sure the map was insane. And this map is insane on the outside based on size alone. It's not really much going on the outside of Madden 22 Stadium, the Commanders Stadium. Madden 22 Commanders Stadium. Not really much going on the outside, but it's huge. Like, that's the best way to put it. It's also Landover, Maryland, and there's not, like, a huge stuff going on there. Maryland, in general, the biggest places to go, number one is Annapolis. Number two is the Inner Harbor. That's where the Ravens Stadium is. And number three is Fellows Point. So, Landover, Maryland, while it's still a really beautiful place, and I love going there, I've been there many, many times, it's not a place where there's a lot going on. So outside the stadium, it's a lot of just open land. And with that being said, again, still a very beautiful stadium and surroundings. But Madden 22 only has, 5 working cars, I think this is? Maybe less than that, maybe like 3 working cars. And even Madden 23, as you're going to see, doesn't really improve that much. It's a little bit better, but it still doesn't have that many working cars. Which, again, it feels like this stadium, in general, just wasn't really a priority to EA Sports. Now, we do know from previous videos, from the Process series, was that a lot of devs in Madden 22 were Giants fans. A lot of developers for this game in Madden 22 actually like the New York Giants. So it might make a little bit of sense that the biggest rival to the New York Giants doesn't actually, their stadium isn't that updated and crazy amazing. Maybe that's a factor. As I said before, the devs aren't, trying or aren't like purposely making certain stadiums better because they're a fan of those stadiums. But at the end of the day, devs are just humans too. And if they can make a stadium better because that's their currently favorite team stadium, they're going to. While other stadiums where you might say that's kind of picking and choosing, yeah, exactly. That's literally exactly what they're doing. They're picking and choosing based on what team they like. And the Commanders, I don't think there's any Commanders fans as devs on the Madden unit. I might be incorrect on that, but I don't think there are. So you kind of got the tough end of the stick, Commanders fans, because EA Sports didn't love you much. Didn't love you as much, I will say. It's still very big, open outside of the stadium. So plenty of space, but it's not some of these other stadiums we have seen over this series so far. Which, this series, by the way, a little side note here, we do have a total of 7 stadiums left. So We have to redo the Giants and the Chargers stadium, a MetLife stadium with obviously the Chargers and Giants. But we have the Jags, Browns, Panthers, Broncos, and Eagles left. So we're going to be doing them as soon as possible, get done this series, and continue to do more no-clipping series. And also, of course, including custom stadiums as well. But for the most part, this series, again, I appreciate all you guys for giving a lot of love and support to it. These videos, again, are usually like 25, 35 minutes long. Not usually my cup of tea for most of this channel, but if you guys love them, we're going to continue doing them. So with that being said, though, we have a lot of neighborhoods out here, but again, a lot of open land. Kind of reminds me of like the Wisconsin map, the Packers map, obviously, the Bills map, the Patriots map also, where it's just like a lot of open land and a lot of open things going on. So this is Madden NFL 23. And in all honesty, Madden 23 is just Madden 22S. It's not really too much more going on. There are cars on the outside, no more wheelies, sadly. Not going to happen. But it's just a 5% less sized map than Madden 22. Still, again, it's still a little bit of an improvement. You might see here and there one little 2, 3, 4 different things changed. But it's not really an improvement until Madden 25. Madden 25, Madden 24. Madden 24, which is the next Madden we're going to look at, that's the real update. Now, normally with Madden 24, we see people on the outside of the stadium. Everyone's walking around. Like, there's a lot of people they put everywhere in Madden 24. That's not the case for this stadium. Again, like I said, it's very lackluster. It's not as good as other stadiums are, for whatever reason. Even though Madden 24, this is Madden 23 obviously, but even when Madden 24, we go to Madden 24, Madden 24 was the year of no more Dan Snyder. But still very lackluster. Still not really as crazy, insane as it could be. It is what it is. Shout out to EA Sports for not really loving the Commander Stadium. Again, I really think it's based on what teams people actually like. So, like, if the devs like a certain team, that certain team's going to get a lot of love and attention. But if the devs do not like a certain team, or they just don't care for a certain team, they're not getting any love and attention, and they're getting pretty much crapped on. We're talking about full-on OBJ, crapped on the chest, full-on action. But still, a beautiful stadium on the outside. For the most part, not really much detail, which is, again, kind of disappointing. But they make up for it in Madden 24 and Madden 25, I will say. And just, I'm starting to hate that there's no fans on the outside. It feels so lifeless. I said this in another video, but it's so true. It's like, even though I don't love the fact that they put people everywhere in Madden 24, Madden 25, it just feels very lifeless on the outside of a stadium when there's nobody. Feels like the stadium might be closed or nothing's going on. And it's like, bro, this is a full-on NFL game. But everyone in the stadium is just like, I'm going to sit in my seat, and I'm not going to bother anyone, and I'm not going to do anything. In reality, during NFL games, you have people starting fights, people going crazy, screaming, yelling, running around. Maybe not running around as much. But, they're doing some things. They're doing a thing or two, okay? But for some reason, in Madden 22, Madden 23, it's like very peaceful. It's like a church event. That's kind of how I would describe Madden 22 and Madden 23. It's a church event. Everyone is calm, everyone's collect, everyone's enjoying themselves. Tensions might raise high or low, but everyone is still happy. At a football game, people could rip each other's arms off. Okay, I tried to copy George Carlin, and that did not go very well. If you've not seen his football versus baseball series, make sure you go check that out, because that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much it says baseball is for wussies and football is a man sport. I'm not saying I agree with that, but that's the premise of it, and he goes into great detail about that. So, if you love football, you'll probably like it. If you like baseball, you might get a kick out of it. I don't know your sense of humor. If you have any type of sense of humor, you might actually get a kick out of it. If you don't have a sense of humor, I probably wouldn't watch it. Madden 24, yeah, this is actually the real upgrade. For the most part, graphically, it's also better. That's the one thing I do like about Madden 24, outside of just like, again, the actual upgrades, is that Madden 24 does actually have a lot better when it comes to how it looks. The graphics are a lot better. Feels like it's actually somewhat more of an upgrade because of that. Yeah, across the board, it's just a lot better of an experience, I feel like, with Madden 24 than you get with Madden 23 or Madden 22. This is also the first Madden that is next-gen. Sadly, there will not be any outside experiences with cars. That's something that Madden 24 does go ahead and get rid of, is the outside experience with cars, which I think is a very missed opportunity. I've said this in previous videos, but if you are brand new, Madden 24, the reason why they got rid of, I think Madden 22, Madden 23, they were experimenting with cars, and I think one of the, like, probably the higher ups at EA greenlit the idea, like, hey, yeah, we should have cars in our maps, you know? And maybe we could do, like, you know, presentation stuff, and it kind of goes away, and we go to those certain things, right? They had ideas, right? They let the devs actually enjoy themselves and do cool things. And then after Madden 23, I think that they got a new dev unit, or maybe a new higher up, and it just completely killed all the fun. Like, they were like, no more devs, you are no longer going to be experimenting. We are keeping this as Christian as possible. No, we're keeping it as simple as possible, and we're just going to make a Madden game. But we're not going to worry about the key functionality of Madden, which is gameplay. Everything else, though, keep it, you know? We're gonna keep worrying about the things that really aren't important. Like, outside of the map, that has nothing to do with the actual game. And nobody can actually see it. Gotta love EA Sports. That I don't think I mentioned it's in the game yet today, but it's in fact in the game. Forever and ever, for whatever reason, it is actually in the game, but nobody asked for it. Anyway, we're about to get into Madden 25. Now, the big issue with Madden 24, as I said before, there's nobody on the outside of the stadium. And because this stadium isn't really a stadium that's like that big, and I'm not saying that big, but there's not many walk-around areas. It's just everyone's in their seats, just like Madden 22 and Madden 23, which just, again, it creates this like a lifeless environment, I feel like, in this stadium, which I don't love. I definitely don't love. Again, not my favorite stadium out there, personally speaking. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite stadium. Because I feel like EA Sports doesn't really do too much to make it as good as it could be. But it is what it is, you know. You just gotta deal with the EA Sports factor into it. But now we're into Madden 25. And this is the latest and the greatest of the Madden franchise. Yeah. Madden 25 is just Madden 24S. That's all it is. You're really not getting much of an update. There are some little updates, like you might get exit signs here and there. You also might get, you know, fire extinguishers, or you might get the little tiny picture here and there detail. But for the most part, it's not good. Like, I try to give, you know, Madden 25 a lot of credit. Some stadiums, it does really good, but most of them are very lackluster. I did actually make a custom Commander Stadium, if you'd like to check it out on the channel. That one, I think I fixed a lot of the problems of this stadium and made it a lot better. because, again, like I said, it's not a bad stadium. It's just the fact that EA doesn't go too crazy with this stadium, which I fully believe is because they're Giants fans. And it makes sense. Again, I'm a Bengals fan, and if I was creating the Steelers stadium in Madden, I probably wouldn't try either. I probably would also be like, hey, I actually do not care that much about anything when it comes to, the Steelers stadium in Madden. So that's kind of how I look at it. Maybe they just didn't care, which, again, I don't really blame them. But for the most part, it just creates a bad experience for this stadium in Madden. Still a very good looking stadium. You got the suites updated, you got all that stuff. EA Sports logos everywhere, which you guys told me down below. The reason for that is because for the longest time, the Commanders didn't really have a sponsor with the stadium. So that's why there's EA Sports logos everywhere, which I think everyone loves, When I see EA Sports logos, it just brings a whole bunch of happiness to me. My bad. Happiness. Not hate. Maybe a little bit of hate. Maybe a lot of hate. I don't know. A lot of happiness, to say the least, right? You see EA Sports logos, you're like, this is going to be great. EA Sports. It's in the game. It's in my game. But, again, the outside, it looks better. It does. Is it updated? Not really. But it looks better, and that's really all you can get out of it. With EA Sports, I've learned one key thing. It's not about how much time and effort they put in the game, because they don't put in much at all. It's not about how much time and effort or how much you think they might be trying, because they're not trying at all. I don't know where I was going with the point, because I think EA Sports didn't know either. Still, it's in the game. Literally has a sign that says it's in the game. That's like adding insult to injury. That's just putting icing on a pig. Or lipstick on a pig, not icing. Bro. Lipstick on a pig. It's just... it's fun. It's fun. Gigantic EA Sports logos everywhere. Yeah. I kind of wonder... Madden 26, I'm going to guess that they actually put some actual logos for the Commanders on the outside. Now that, it's new management, things are better. It's not the same situation as it was with Dan Snyder. Thankfully, he is gone. And thankfully, they can kind of move on from him. But now that he is gone, they can start to really make this stadium a lot better. Because, again, there's situations over the last couple years that weren't the greatest. Pipes bursting, poo-poo water all over fans. Yeah, it was just not the greatest. Not the greatest last couple years for the Commanders. But now that they have everything figured out with their franchise quarterback, again, new ownership, should be a lot better. Everything's on the up and up for the Commanders. I think the Commanders are about to really start to take off and show how good of a franchise they could be. I mean, they already won 3 Super Bowls. What am I talking about? But outside of the 3 Super Bowls, they're about to really start to take off here and, become one of the best teams in the NFL. Right now, I mean, they just lost to the, Eagles, but they're still 7-3. Still a really great record. Going to be a playoff team this year. I do hope they can go deep in the playoffs. Outside of my Bengals, I wouldn't mind if they won the Super Bowl. I don't really have a problem with them. So if they win and won the Super Bowl, that would be kind of cool. Just get a 4th ring, and then they could start competing with some of these other teams like the Steelers and the Cowboys, who have 6 rings. And which is going to be hilarious to say, because I feel like a lot of people have made or have kind of treated the Commanders like a laughingstock over the years. So if they get 4 rings, it's just even funnier. It's just like, you made this team a laughingstock, but this team's actually a unit. It could become one of the most dangerous teams, which we need NFC dangerous teams, let's be honest. We have too many dangerous teams in the AFC. Now the NFC this year is starting to really take off, and thank God on that, because as a Bengals fan, I don't need every single good team to be in the AFC. It's really annoying when your whole conference is freaking amazing, and you're just trying to get by. The Bengals are finally good, and every single person in every other AFC team's like, oh yeah, we're also good. Like, no, we don't need that. You guys can stay bad, and we can be good. Oh, lordy. Anyway, parking lots, absolutely humongous parking lots, as always, when it comes to these stadiums. I think this is the biggest parking lot of any NFL stadium so far. MetLife is also very, very big as well. So it's kind of very, very close size-wise, I will say, to MetLife. But a little bit, I would say probably this stadium might be a tad bit bigger of a parking lot, which when you house 70,000 people in your stadium, it makes sense that you have gigantic parking lots. But with that being said, guys, make sure to like and subscribe button if you are indeed new and you are enjoying this series so far. Make sure to like and subscribe button down below. I know I have a lot of new subscribers who do enjoy my Noclipped series, and we are going to continue this. And obviously, once College Football 25 next year comes to PC, we will be going ahead and Noclipping inside and outside of stadiums in College Football 25 and any other stadium we can. Eventually, I'm going to guess that they bring baseball or MLB to PC. Once they do that, I can Noclip inside and outside of baseball stadiums as well. And again, if I can, as long as it's on PC, I can figure out a way to create a mod to Noclip outside of anything on PC. If it's on PC, I have the ability to do anything. But sadly, not every single thing is on PC, because I think EA Sports kind of learns that they put it on PC, then we will absolutely go wild and start modding it and changing everything and figuring out every little detail about what they're doing. I mean, that's how MuttLeaks works. MuttLeaks can literally figure out every single detail because it's on PC. Once you put it on PC, we can data mine your game. We can go in your files. We can make sure your files are perfect, or any problems or any issues, we can figure them out. Like, it's a very dangerous spot to give us PC Madden, because we can pretty much wreak havoc on any Madden game the second you give us on PC, but that's how it works. Anyway, though, if you want to see me do a certain stadium a little bit faster, tell me down below. We'll be like, hey, I want you to do the Panthers next, Broncos next, or whatever, and we'll kind of get on to it. So, I'll see you guys in the next one.